Greetings and hello again, good people. This is my second video for the purpose of promoting my upcoming book titled The Magnificence of the Three. In the last video, I made a claim that God was fully aware of the atom. For this video, I am going to lay out some foundation using one of many mysterious biblical parables that God preserved in record, as evidence to prove that He was not only aware of the atom's presence in the universe, but used it in creating heaven and earth. For this video, it is my claim that God preserved His awareness of the atom by transferring its structural design and used it in creating the first man. As generally understood, the structural design of the atom is like this. It is made of three particles. First one is identified as the negative electron as it has a negative electrical charge. The second one is identified as the positive proton as it has a positive electrical charge. These two are opposite of each other, and I refer to this relationship throughout book as opposite attract. The third one has no electrical charge, and is therefore identified as the neutral neutron. According to one popular theory of science known as the Big Bang, the atom came out of the fires of the Big Bang designed this way. If there was scientific evidence of intentional design of the universe, this was the first one. When I looked closer to the design of the atom's structure, I immediately recognized the similarity between its structural design and the format of spiritual relationship between man and God as promoted by the Bible. For example, the design of the atom's structure has the positive proton and neutral neutron holding on to each other in the center of the atom. But above them, the negative electron is busy running around encircling the proton and the neutron in the center of the atom. As is generally understood in science today, the atom is an immortal like our God. It is my claim that it is the structural design of the atom's particles that makes it immortal. Spiritually, I then reclassified the negative electron as evil, while the positive proton as good, whereas the neutral neutron as representative of God. More on the neutron and God in upcoming videos. Through this way, I was then looking at God as the neutron holding on to good in the middle of the atom while evil was busy encircling them. It simply appeared as if God was keeping good and evil apart. It was then that God began laying out creation parables for me. Keep in mind, though, that the names and identifications such as atom, negative, positive, or particles for example, were all modern labels and classifications given to them by our scientists. Next, is my claim that the atom was the firstborn of heaven and earth. The second-born was the first man named Adam. When Adam was designed, it is my claim that God imitated the structural design of the atom's particles in creating him. What God did was redesign the structure of the atom's particles and turned them into something else specifically for man. The redesign of the particles came to be identified by our experts thousands of years later as emotions. What they also did coincidentally and inadvertently was classify emotions as also positive and negative. By doing so, they provided a piece of contributing evidence in support of my claim that the atom's structural design was used in creating the first man. But if emotions were the imitation of the atom's structural design, then it was mandatory for emotion to also have a neutron representative following same design. In that case, what was it? It is my claim that this was the reason why desire was included in the decision by Eve to go for knowledge. Desire was the first emotion God planted into the record and was therefore the Bible's first emotion. Because of this, it is my claim that it was intentionally done to reveal to us that desire was designed to act as a neutron for emotions. Or as I claim in book, as the mother of emotions. Desire is the mother because no emotion can be activated without the desire to do so. Desire gives birth to all emotions. You can never be angry, for example, unless you have the desire to do so. Same thing with love, hate and any other emotion. No emotion can come to life without activating desire, hence its classification as the mother. So we now have three particles designed specifically for man: desire as the neutron, and positive emotions such as love for example, as well as its negative opposite identified as hate. These were the three magnificent tools that I claim based on biblical parables, that of desire and positive and negative emotions, to have been designed specifically to assist man in pursuit of immortality following the design of the atom. Once Adam was created, these were the first three relationships in the universe that imitated one another. There was God, good and evil. The atom had the neutral neutron, positive proton and negative electron particles. And the first human had desire, positive and negative emotions for himself. All three relationships, that of God, the atom and man, were linked through this design of the magnificence of the three. Throughout the book, I refer to this relationship between positive and negative as opposite attract. The first biblical parable that God used in preserving the evidence of the transfer of the design from the atom to Adam came immediately after Adam was created. God created Adam in Genesis chapter 1, verse 26, and immediately in verse 27, God stated this. So God created man in his own image. In the image of God he created him, male and female he created them. This verse still causes confusion today, as some claim that Eve was created here because of the last part of sentence citing male and female he created them. It is reasonable for some to conclude that Eve was created here, but then in chapter 2, Eve was created again there. I am now claiming that it was no coincidence that God preserved male and female with this verse, which came immediately after Adam was created. What God did was preserve the supporting evidence for us to discover that the design of the atom was imitated, redesigned, and was transferred into designing the first man. Now remember what I said above, the labels such as atom, positive, negative, and neutron were all modern words coined by man. So what God did in verse 27 was rename the positive and negative emotions by identifying them in simple form that man can understand for eternity, as male and female. The male and female God created them with, in this verse, was a reference to negative and positive emotions. Negative and positive are opposite attract. So are male and female. Simplicity appears to have been the goal. The key for me that unlocked this parable was threefold. The creation of Eve from Adam's rib, her purpose as the helper, and the involvement of desire with Eve in decision to go after knowledge. There will be more about Eve and her relationship with desire in their roles as helpers in upcoming videos. Coincidentally, the general purpose of emotions as classified by our experts are to assist man in preserving survival. For example, if you see a car coming at you, fear rises out from somewhere inside you and forces you to jump out of the way. In doing so, fear assists you in preserving your survival. This is an example of how similar the role emotions play for preserving survival for man, just as the particles assist the atom in preserving its immortal nature. God initially referred to this role as helper for Adam, and science came later and defined this role for emotion the same. This nature of the atom's particles is discussed further in book. As for now, this video is to reveal the first parable that not only can be explained by the atom's structural design, but also as a contributing piece of evidence in support of my claim that Adam was designed in imitation of the atom. Furthermore, the parable is a contributing piece of evidence for my claim that the Bible preserved the record, depicting God's awareness of the atom for thousands of years before man did. I will submit more of these short videos to introduce some parables. That the presence of the magnificence of the three helped in revealing their meanings, such as the male and female in verse 27 as outlined above. If you are interested in more of these promotional videos, please share, subscribe or like them on social media to give others the opportunity to find God or to strengthen ongoing relationships with Him. I close this video with another biblical piece of evidence to support claim that God was aware of the atom. Immediately after He declared that He created heaven and earth in Genesis 1, verse 1. He entered the scene and found waters in the second verse. Nobody talks about this, but waters was a fundamental element of creation that God did not specifically say by name He created. However, it is a scientific fact that water is also made from the atom. Water was the only visible matter with God in the beginning. Water was presented in record in this manner for various purposes as I discuss in book. However, as it is a scientific fact that water is made from the atom, it is difficult to ignore the probability that this was the reason why God presented water when he appeared on the scene, and without an earth to hold it. Waters became both a witness and evidence of the presence of the atom with God in the beginning. God presented the atom in second verse, created man in verse 26, and revealed the transfer of the atom's design in verse 27. One can say that God and science met at the water fountain. I urge those coming in contact with these videos to get a copy, and even if you are straight with God by faith, then use book as a gift from your role as a priest, even for your worst enemy. We have to improve our world. The Magnificence of the Three is scheduled for release on April 15, 2023. Thank you for watching. Stay blessed and have a wonderful day.